phylogenetic analysis using MEGA-X. As we discussed in the last class, for phylogenetic analysis, we have some specific requirements. Number one is we must have to have a set of related sequences, and then we should have a multiple sequence alignment tool. And thirdly, we must have to have a phylogenetic analysis tool. And for certain sort of phylogenetic analysis, if we use some software like Phylip, then we may have to additionally use some tree view packages or tree view tool. But today we'll be using one software, MEGA-X. MEGA-X is actually 10th version of MEGA. There are a lot of older versions of the same software available free of cost from internet. You can download. We started using, say, MEGA-4, then MEGA-6, then MEGA-8, then MEGA-10. So this is the MEGA-10 or MEGA-X. This is the latest version of MEGA. Now, in this class, we shall do the phylogenetic analysis by following the steps required. So these steps are, number one, we have to prepare a file as a text file in Notepad by placing all the sequences that we selected for phylogenetic analysis in the FASTA format. I have given you two files. One is the file consisting of COX-1 gene, which is a mitochondrial gene sequence from different species of animals. That is one file that is created in FASTA format. Already you have it. So that contains the DNA sequences. And another file I have given you that contains certain protein sequences in the FASTA format, and the file was created by using Notepad. As a text file it was created, and it contains the prion sequences. I think you know prions are nothing but proteinaceous infectious particles. They are the smallest infectious particles known so far, which are devoid of any nucleic acid. It contains only protein, but at times it becomes infectious. It can cause certain ailments or disease. I'll not go into that. So we have collected the prion sequences from many animals, different species, particularly domestic animals, and also certain rodents, as well as chicken. In one Notepad file, we have pasted all the sequences downloaded from NCBI in the FASTA format that already you have. Then secondly, we need a multiple sequence alignment tool, but MEGA-X or MEGA-10 is a composite tool for phylogenetic analysis. It itself has embedded ClustalW and another multiple sequence alignment tool called Muscle. Both these are embedded within the MEGA software. So we need not have to have a separate multiple sequence alignment tool. But of course, you can also use separately ClustalW, ClustalX, or Muscle for first doing the alignment, then take the alignment file to MEGA. But that is not essential because MEGA itself contains both multiple sequence alignment tool as well as the phylogenetic analysis tool. Then after doing the multiple sequence alignment, based on the result of alignment, we shall decide about the most suitable method for the set of data that we are using that has to be used for phylogenetic analysis. As we already discussed, a number of different methods of phylogenetic analysis are available, like maximum parsimony, distance method. Again, in distance matrix method, there are three methods, but two are more commonly used: neighbor joining method and UPGMA. And the third option is the maximum likelihood method. But which method to be used for a particular set of data, that will depend upon the result of multiple sequence alignment. Then after doing the multiple sequence alignment and determining the method to be used, we will do the phylogenetic analysis using this selected method. Then we will go for bootstrapping. Kindly switch off your audio because some noise is coming from outside. So then we'll go for bootstrapping for validation of our phylogenetic tree. Of course, Mega is a software where during the process of phylogenetic analysis, you can also pre-program the bootstrapping or the validation of the phylogenetic analysis. Side by side, it will be done and you will be getting the final results. Then based on the phylogenetic tree built, we shall interpret the results and try to figure out the variations among the species as well as the relatedness among the species on the basis of the phylogenetic tree. We shall interpret based on the phylogenetic tree about the evolutionary relationship among the species. So this is the process that we will be following. Now straightway we will go to the practical. So for that, I'll be going to MegaX. I think you have kept it on your desktop. So if you have kept it on your desktop, double click on it and then open the MegaX. So this should be the view of the home page of MegaX software. So there are many different menus. Already we have the sequences with us. First of all, we will take on the COX-1 sequences. These are the cytochrome oxidase sequences of mitochondria belonging to different species. Now, first of all, we shall have to go for a multiple sequence alignment. So in MEGA, which stands for Molecular Evolutionary Genetic Analysis. This is the full form of MEGA, Molecular Evolutionary Genetic Analysis. So there are different options for doing both alignment as well as data analysis for determining the variation or distance or similarity among sequences, as well as for studying the phylogenetic analysis. So now we will go for first sequence alignment. So for that, we will click on Align. This is one menu, Align. Under Align, we will take the first option, Edit or Build Assignment. Are you following? Please
yes, sir.
Please follow me step by step. You do side by side, you do it with your computer. So click on Edit or Build Assignment. Okay. Then another window has come. Here, there are three options. Create a new alignment, open a saved alignment session, and retrieve a sequence from a file. Now, it is a new alignment that we are going to do. So that is why we shall select Create a New Alignment. Okay, we'll select Create a New Alignment. Then click OK. Then it is asking, are you building a DNA or protein sequence alignment? Which type of data you are going to align, whether it is a protein sequence data or DNA sequence data. First of all, we will be taking on the COX-1 sequences, which are DNA sequences. Therefore, we'll click on DNA. Okay. Now, bring this window into the middle, or you can enlarge it also if you need. You can maximize it. Okay. This is the window of alignment where we will be working now. Now, we don't have the sequences as of now got to the alignment window. So we shall have to bring the sequences to the alignment window. For that, we'll go to Edit. Then click on Insert Sequence from File. Okay, Insert Sequence from File. So because already we have built the file, we will be inserting sequences from the file. Otherwise, if you are downloading sequences from NCBI or any other data sources, then you can create an insert blank sequence file, and in that you can go on pasting one by one. But already we have downloaded the sequences and pasted in a notepad file. So therefore, we will bring that notepad file containing all these sequences, the entire set of sequences, by clicking on Insert Sequence from File. Okay. Then it is asking where our file is. We know that our file is on the desktop. Click Desktop, then try to find the file. Sometimes it may not appear because here the type of file, now it is all in my computer, but sometimes it may be indicating any one particular type of file. Then you may not get that type of file on the desktop. So always click all in the file type and then search for the file. Now our file is COX1. This is the file that is having all the sequences that we want to compare. So we'll double click on COX1. So the sequences are brought. All sequences of COX1 gene from chimpanzee, cattle, zebu cattle. This the number 1 cattle indicates the exotic cattle, Bos taurus, and zebu cattle means Bos indicus, Indian zebu cattle. Then dog, pygmy chimp, then cat, then sheep, gecko, vampire bat, snow leopard, Chinese pangolin, white-lipped deer. Then, of course, last one, 13, you have to ignore because this is not representing any particular species sequence. That's an additional 13 number sequence that is by default will appear in this window. Now our sequences are these up to 12, 1 to 12. These are the sequences of COX1 gene. Now you see, intentionally I have included sequences from pangolin because pangolin is not within the mammalian species, but even then we have included it in this particular group. Similarly, gecko also we have included it. They are the outliers or the outgroup. As I say, when you want to compare a set of sequences, then it is always better to keep 1 or 2 outliers or outgroups for phylogenetic analysis so that the analysis clearly shows distinctive variation with the outgroup or outlier. Now, these are all sequences. For going to sequence alignment, we still have to select the sequences first. So first click on the first sequence, cattle, then click shift, then click on the 12. Click on the sequence number 12. Okay, that means all the first 12 sequences we have selected. As I said, 13 number, sequence 1, this is by default will appear in this window. You should not select it because this is not representing any DNA sequence. So all the 12 sequences we have selected. Unless you select the sequences, you cannot go for alignment. Okay. Now you go to alignment. In the menu bar, there is one option, alignment. Under alignment, you see there are 4 different options for sequence alignment. Align by cluster W, align by cluster W with codons, align by muscle, then align by muscle with codons. That means either we can go nucleotide wise or we can go by codon wise. Okay. Either you can use cluster W or you can use muscle. Let us use muscle. Muscle is a newer software and this is very reliable for multiple sequence alignment. Let us click on align by muscle. Okay. Now it is giving us the parameters of alignment. So there are some default parameters set already here. Say gap opening penalty -400, gap extension penalty 0, maximum memory MB 2048, maximum iteration 16, then cluster method that will be used is UPGMA. So these are some of the parameters already set by default. We are not going to change anything. We will keep the parameters as it is. Simply you will click on OK. Otherwise, if you want to change them, then you can click on reset. Okay, you can reset and set the parameters, or without setting the parameters, you can simply go to align by muscle, then click on OK. Okay. Now the alignment is progressing. So after this, the alignment has been completed. You see now the picture has changed. This is the alignment done. That is why some gaps have been already created. You see, in some places, in some positions, across the different sequences, there are similarities. but in some positions there are dissimilarities. Say for example, gecko is showing a lot of dissimilarities as expected because it is an outlier. Similarly, pangolin is also showing a lot of variations from others, but of course others are also not exactly same. They are also showing a lot of dissimilarities here and there. So this is the alignment window. Alignment has been done. Now from this we shall decide what method we will be following. Now for deciding that, as we have discussed in the last class, we have to decide based on the sequence alignment result. So first of all, we shall have to ask a question whether there are large-scale similarities among the sequences. Clearly recognizable large-scale similarities across different sequences exist or not. Now we see that large-scale similarities are not there because in many places there are mutations across different sequences. There are a lot of mutations here and there. So by and large, the sequences are not similar. So we will not go for maximum parsimony method. Then if the answer to the first query is no, then we have to go back to another query. Second question we have to ask, okay, overall similarity is not there, but whether there are some clearly recognizable similarities across species, across the different species or the nucleotide sequences. So across nucleotide sequences, we find that in certain areas, there are similarities. Say, for example, if you start from the beginning, you see that here, across all T, Z, these two nucleotides are exactly alike. Similarly, here you see, for 5 nucleotides, they are almost alike. So now, this is the alignment window where we are looking for the result of sequence alignment. You see, the second question we are asking, that is whether there are the recognizable similarity exists across sequences in some places. Yes, it is almost similar here, okay, except for one nucleotide variation here in dog, others are same. So similarly, in many positions, we see that a large-scale similarity exists among the sequences. Although overall similarity is less, but in many areas, there are recognizable similarities across different species. So our method of choice will be distance method. So in distance method, as we know, there are 2 approaches. One is neighbor joining method and the other is UPGMA method. So we shall use both the methods, then look for the validation score. After bootstrapping, we will see the scores. If the scores are higher, if the validity score is higher with UPGMA, then we will go with UPGMA. If the validation score is higher with neighbor joining method, we will go for neighbor joining method, because both the methods are suitable for use with this kind of data. So now our sequence alignment has been successfully completed. Now we are to save this session. For that, we will go to data, save session, data, save session. Okay. It is showing in the form of MAS. Then you have to give a name to this particular file. It is a file, same name we will keep, cox1.mas. This is a MAS file, cox1.mas. We are keeping the same name. We are keeping on desktop. We will save it for future use. Okay. Now this is the window for alignment. With this, we cannot go for the phylogenetic analysis. So either we can restore it down, then go to phylogenetic analysis directly, or we can close it, then bring back the MAS file to go for phylogenetic analysis. So we'll close the file. Then now again reload the phylogenetic analysis file. Okay. So for that, you'll go to File, open a file or session, Then go to desktop, because already we have kept the mask file on the desktop. So what is the mask file? You go for that. This is the mask file, COX1 mask file. So double click on that. Then again it is asking analyze or align. What do you want to do? Alignment is already done. So we'll be analyzing only, not alignment. So don't click on alignment, align, click on analyze, because we are going to do phylogenetic analysis. Okay. It is asking protein coding nucleotide sequence data. You say yes. It is not asking it is protein sequence data, but the question, please look into it carefully. It is asking whether it is a protein coding nucleotide sequence data. That means whether it is a gene data. Yes. So click yes. So the file has been created here. It is open here. If you click on close data, it will be immediately closed. Okay. Don't click on close data. So file is here. If you click here, the file will be shown, but the appearance will be different here. Wherever there are similarities, it will be represented by a dot, and the mutations are shown by the specific nucleotide in the specific sequences. So this is the file already there. Now with this file, we are going to do phylogenetic analysis. For that, now we will go to phylogeny menu. There is a menu, phylogeny. Click on phylogeny menu. There are different options for phylogenetic analysis, as I said: maximum likelihood, neighbor joining, minimum evolution, EPGMA, maximum parsimony. But already we have decided that we will go for neighbor joining and UPGMA. So click on neighbor joining. Okay. Would you like to use the currently active data? You say yes. Okay. Now this is the window which is giving the parameters for phylogenetic analysis. It's a neighbor joining method, a statistical method that we are following. Now you see, it is important. It is asking whether you need to have a test of phylogeny. This test of phylogeny means bootstrapping or validation. So by default, it is none. But you are to take this test of phylogeny, because we have to validate the phylogenetic analysis. So we'll click here. Then there is a drop down menu appearing now. Click on the drop down menu. You see, it is asking which method of validation you will prefer, bootstrap and interior branch test method. We will go for bootstrap because bootstrap is more commonly followed. Click on bootstrap method. Then by default, number of bootstrap applications appearing is 500. You can increase it to 1000 if you need. As I said, mostly it is done for 500 times or 1000 times. If you want to increase the reliability of the bootstrapping, then you can increase the number of replications to 1000. Now we'll keep it as 500 so that you can quickly do it. Then other parameters we will not alter. It will remain as it is. We will take the default parameters as the standard. Okay. Then we will click OK. Some errors are there in the data. That's why it is not showing. Okay. Let me check once again. Phylogeny, neighbor joining. (13.1) sequence pair 13.1. Somewhere in the. Oh, we have selected 13 also. 13 should be omitted. Okay. That was the mistake that we have done. We are to delink this 13. Okay. We have to delink this 13. Already we have selected sequence number 13. So this is also having the click. So you have to remove this. Okay. Because that is not a sequence. Already we know. So then close it. Now we do it. Phylogeny, go for neighbor joining. 500 bootstrap. Okay. So this time it will be done. So why there is a mistake? You see the sequence 1, as I said, the 13 number sequence in the alignment window was not representing the required sequence. That was by default present in the alignment window. So that should be deleted. That should not be considered for phylogenetic analysis. So that we have omitted, and now the phylogenetic analysis is done. Now you see this is the phylogenetic analysis done based on our aligned data by using the neighbor joining method. Usually bootstrap scores. In most of the places it is more than 70. Only these two are 50 and 58, but others are either 100, 98 or 70. So these are good bootstrap scores. That means reliability is very high. That means it is almost certain that zebu cattle and cattle will remain in the same clade in the diagram, in the phylogenetic tree, because out of 100 times, all the time it appeared together in the same clade. These branches are therefore more valid. But the validity of sheep, cattle and zebu appearing in a small subcluster is 70% valid. As I said, that a 70% score of validity is very high, good validity score, that is acceptable. So similarly, most of the scores are very good. We will test it by the other method, that is your UPGMA method also, and we will compare the validity score. Now, here it has given you the indications, what are the analysis done and what is represented by the figure. You see, evolutionary relationships of taxa, the evolutionary history was inferred using the neighbor joining method. The optimal tree with the sum of branch length is equal to this much is shown. This is not important for us to study, but what I'll be emphasizing is that what is the, that means indication given by the branch length. So branch length indicate the evolutionary distance. Actually, this is represented by the distance score that was determined by the phylogenetic, the sequence alignment. After sequence alignment, the distance scores were determined, and the distance scores are represented by the branch length. More the distance score, more will be the branch length, as we discussed in the last class. And these distance scores are determined based on the mutations occurring in different sequences at different positions. Okay, so this is the neighbor joining tree. So now we will minimize it, then do the same analysis using UPGMA. Now go to phylogeny once again, then construct UPGMA tree. Okay, same thing here also. We'll go for test of phylogeny, bootstrap method 500 times, then click OK. Now this is the tree built based on the same data by method called UPGMA. You see here, the lowest score is 37, but highest is 100. I think the scores are more reliable here because most of the related sequences are showing 100 or 80. Only in one place it is 48 and 37. Now here also again the zebu cattle and cattle are appearing in the same clade. Then sheep appearing with zebu cattle and cattle is 80% valid. Then white-lipped deer showing similarity to zebu cattle, cattle and sheep are having 100% validity, that they are forming the same cluster. Then next cluster, subcluster is made by dog, cat and snow leopard. Another subcluster is made by chimpanzee and pygmy chimpanzee. And all these species make one major cluster. You see, one major cluster. And vampire bat, Chinese pangolin, they are separated. So they form another separate cluster because they do have more similarity between them. Then the last one, this one Gecko. Gecko is forming a root cluster. You see, Gecko is the root of all other sequences. It means the COX1 gene sequence represents that all the sequences of these species might have originated from the ancestor Gecko. Gecko is a reptile, and therefore this is evolutionarily it is an ancient species. It came into existence on Earth before the other species, and therefore the COX1 gene sequence of Gecko is showing as a root cluster of all other sequences. You see, as we expected, Gecko and Chinese pangolin as well as vampire bat are separated from other sequences clearly. That indicates that these sequences are more similar than that of vampire bat, Chinese pangolin and Gecko as expected. Particularly Chinese pangolin and Gecko, we use them in the analysis as outlier. So they are remaining as outliers. But of course, one interesting fact is that COX1 gene sequence of Chinese pangolin has got similarity to a moderate level with vampire bat. Why I'm telling moderate level? Because the length of these branches are more, means the distance score is little higher than others. But they are distinctly different from all other species. So it shows that most of the scores in this diagram is higher than that of the other method that we have used, neighbor joining. So you can use EPG, but of course they are almost comparable, because in neighbor joining also we are getting more than 70% in most cases. Either of the two are acceptable. Then either you can use this as the final tree for publication, or otherwise you can go for looking into the bootstrap consensus tree. So this is the final tree, bootstrap consensus tree. So this can be now copied and can be used for publication in your paper. Okay. So here, how can you take it to your research article? Suppose you are preparing your research article related to these data in MS Word file. You need to carry this image to the MS Word file. So for that, you have to go to image. Then you can either copy to clipboard, or you can save it as some image file. Either you can save it as bitmap file, PDF file, PNG file, SVG file, TIFF file, etc. In different format of picture or image, you can save it, or you can just simply copy to clipboard. If you copy to clipboard, then you can easily print it on MS Word. I'm opening an MS Word, then already it is in copy. So we will click Ctrl V, then it will be pasted. You see, wherever you want, you can paste it. It will remain as it is. So Mega 10 is a very user-friendly software which can give you phylogenetic analysis and build a phylogenetic tree, which is accepted by most of the reputed publishers in the publications. So this is a very good open access tool that can be used for building phylogenetic tree. I think the process is clear to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we will repeat it once again with the help of the protein sequence data. Okay. Now, so far we have used it with the nucleic acid sequences, nucleotide sequences for doing phylogenetic analysis. Same procedure will follow for the protein sequence. Okay. So we'll close these windows, discard results. You did not save it. Okay. Then close the data. Don't save it. No. Okay. Then close this also. Discard result. Okay. All have been discarded. Now we will use some protein sequence data which have been given to you in the file called test file. Already you have been given that. So we'll bring that now for doing similar kind of analysis based on protein sequence. So for that, we will first go to Align menu, Edit or Build Alignment, then create a new alignment, then click OK. Are you creating a new data set? Yes. Whether it is a protein or DNA, it is asking, it is protein. Okay. So this is the alignment window. Now we have to go to Edit. Please remember the steps. Go to Edit, Insert Sequence from File. Okay. Insert Sequence from File. Go back to the desktop. Now this time bring the sequence Test. Test. It contains prion sequences in the FASTA format. Double click on that. All the sequences are open. Okay. These are the sequences of prion from gorilla, chimpanzee, orangutan, mouse, pig, sheep, bovine, camel, hamster, chicken, mule deer, rhesus macaque, then human, rat, cat. All these sequences are there. So here we have kept some sequences like chicken as a outlier. Chicken are outliers because all others are mammals, including mouse and rat are mammals. But chicken is an outlier, it is not a mammal. So intentionally we have kept it as an outlier. It has got a lot of variations from others. So now first of all we will go for alignment. For that we shall have to select the sequence first. Click on the first, click Shift, then click on the last. But don't include the last sequence. Only up to 16 means this is by default will be appearing sequence 1. Sequence 1 you should not select. Okay. Selected all the 16 sequences. Then go to Alignment. Align by muscle. Or you can use Clustal W also, no problem. This time let us use Clustal W. Okay. So these are the default parameters set. Don't change any default parameters, simply click on OK. So the sequence alignment has been done. You see these gaps are created. And you see clearly the 11 number sequence, prion secant, is showing a lot of variations from others. Now based on this alignment data or the final alignment result, we shall decide about the method to be used for phylogenetic analysis. So here again the first question will be whether large scale similarity exists across sequences. I think again the answer is no, because you see a lot of variations are there here and there. Not only the variations are limited to chicken, but in other places also. Here you see in mouse also there is a lot of variations. And in many places in others also a lot of variations are there. So by and large sequences are not similar. So we will not go for maximum parsimony method. Then what are the other methods? Second method is distance method. Where we can take distance method? If we ask the question that whether clearly recognizable similarity across sequences exist. That means some segmental similarity. In some segments, whether clearly recognizable similarity exists. Now here we have seen that in many places, the clearly recognizable similarities are there in all the sequences except one or two, or in some places even across sequences, including the chicken sequences. You see here, all these three nucleotides are similar, including in chicken. So clearly recognizable similarities exist. So our method will be the distance methods once again, UPGMA or the neighbor joining method. Okay. So now our job with the alignment has been over. Now we will save this file. Go to data, save session, then give a name to the session. This is for test, or maybe you can write Prion. Okay, name of the file Prion, then save in desktop. Now close it. Let the Mega remain, because we will now bring that align data. The file will be now brought from the desktop. Already in desktop we have that file. So this is the Prion file created now, mask file. This has been created as mask file. So we will go back to Mega. And now this time we will be going to file, open a file or session, go to desktop, file the Prion mask file. This is the Prion mask file. Okay, bring this file. Asking analyze or align, we are going to analyze. So click analyze. So data has been here uploaded. These are the data. Okay. Now we will go for phylogenetic analysis. Phylogeny. Go to UPGMA. Would you like to use the currently active data? Yes. Bootstrap method phylogeny 500 replicates. Already it has been showing by default. So click OK. Same mistake once again. We have selected the sequence wrongly. So we'll go back to the sequence file, unselect the last one. Just unselect the last one. Sequence 1, it should be unselected. Otherwise, phylogenetic analysis cannot be done. So now go back to phylogeny after unselecting it. Go to test UPGMA. Yes. Okay. So now phylogenetic analysis has been done. So now you see here, this is the phylogenetic analysis based on the Prion sequences data. These are protein sequences, but mind it, these sequences are not conserved sequences of the species. These are some infectious protein sequences of different species. So from a comparison of Prion sequences of different species, you are not really establishing relationship between the species. You are just establishing evolutionary relationship between the Prion sequences only. That means you are trying to see whether the Prion sequences of different mammals are showing high level of similarity and how they have changed themselves in the evolutionary history. That means how they have been derived in the evolution. Here it shows clearly that prion of sheep and prion of mule deer are showing high level of similarity. The variation is very less. You see, variation is represented by the horizontal branches or lines, but this is very less. Here, between gorilla and human, there is no difference. They are 100% similar sequences. That is why it is represented by a perpendicular line. Both the prion gorilla and prion human, these two leaves are created without having any horizontal line. That means there is no distance between prion of gorilla and human. It means they are 100% alike. Similarly, the prion of chimpanzee is also having almost similar sequences as that of gorilla and human, as expected. Similarly, orangutan is also having similar, because these are 4 humanoid apes. So they might have derived their prion sequences from one another. The next similar mammal is rhesus macaque. You see, from here the prion sequence is having only little differences. As I said, that this horizontal line represent the distance score, okay, or it indirectly represents mutations. So you see here, the scale represents the mutations. 0.00 means 0 mutation here. Then if it is of this length, that will indicate that there are variations between them. So 0.20 means 2 by 100. That means in every 100 nucleotide there are 2 mutations. Every 100 nucleotide represent 2 mutations. So like that way the tree is built. Now in this tree you see that all the different prions of different mammalian species except mouse are forming a single clade, and chicken is forming another clade. And this is quite expected because chicken was used as a outlier or outgroup. But what is unexpected is that prion mouse, although mouse is also a mammal, and it was expected to be showing similarity with prion of rat and hamster because they are also rodents, but they are not showing similarity. Or to rabbits, they should have shown, but they are not showing similarity. So mouse is showing as a root cluster for the other 2 clusters. So mouse prion was probably the ancestor for prion of different mammalian species and also of chicken. Okay, so mouse prion came to Earth prior to the other prion sequences of different mammalian species as well as chicken, and mouse prion is the ancestor for all others. It shows like that on the based on this particular analysis. Like I said, you can go back to bootstrap consensus tree, and this will be the final tree, and that you can copy and paste, or sometimes the original tree may also be copied and pasted, whichever you choose. But this diagram can also be changed by different methods, because there are a number of different methods to represent or display the phylogenetic tree. So if you go back to these options here, you see this is the common method or more popular method. This is rectangular form, traditional method. You see it is rectangular traditional method, but you can show it as straight method. This will appear like this, or you can show it as curve method, or you can show it as a radiation method, radiation like this. You can show it as circle. So mitochondrial gene sequences are more commonly shown in circular methods, or you can show it in the traditional ones also. So like this way, you can change the appearance of the diagram. Based on your choice, you can change the appearance of your diagram. But of course, ultimately the interpretation will be same, but the appearance will be different. So this is all what I wanted to talk today. I think how to use MegaX for doing phylogenetic analysis is clear to you.